Hey, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, the tri state areas of New Jersey, Connecticut, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Your host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable, independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and of course, Queens, New York native, who is also a New York Mets fan and New York Giants fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking with me by tuning in, streaming, listening, and watching the 430th episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast. And we are now live and direct from the comfort of my room where I do my podcast recordings. And this is the space where I talk about various topics and in music news, including hip hop. There's rap. There's 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 New York there's New York City transit news, alongside with movie news, TV, alongside with a little tech and a little gaming in this comedy space. So, um, hold on. Sorry, I had to mute that because of a loud car. I do apologize for that one right there. Now, listen. If you missed any episodes whatsoever, please feel free to catch up, and of course, be sure to actually, you know, click that subscribe button. Yes, in case you're new to this channel and you don't know how to support the creator and host of a podcast show, all you need to do is click on that subscribe button, like, and of course, leave a comment on the episode alongside with the topics. It really helps the channel grow. Of course, spread the word to your friends and along with everybody else that you're cool with. That's relatable. Um, you know what I mean? And and of course, be sure to enable alerts so you don't miss out on any episodes whatsoever. Please feel free to actually do that, and I will actually gladly, and I mean gladly, be able to go over what's happening in today's episode. Of course, including the lighting of the Christmas tree that's happening around 9:57 p.m. In case you're going out there, please get there as early as you can because it's going to be very crowded. And of course, in case you're wondering, in case you missed the lighting of the Rockefeller Christmas tree, it's starting today through January. So you got plenty of time all throughout December to actually go check out the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. All right. So there you go right there. I just wanted to actually put it out there. Um, I just wanted to put it out there. Um, so in case you guys are going, the hell's going on here? Um, the hell? That is not what I had in mind. Um, give me 1 second. Actually, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this. Yeah, sorry about that. All right. Now that I got the Christmas stuff out the way, I want to get into some breaking New York Transit news in regards to the F and M trains. All right. Now, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about here, I will gladly fill you in on this segment right here, the New York Mass Transit Files right here. Let's do this. All right. So all of you who take the subway, who are subway commuters, I need you to listen to this. All right. So like I was saying, it's some breaking news in regards to the subway changes of the F and M trains. All right. So I just saw this posted. So I figured I'd talk about it on the podcast today. So here's what's happening here. According to AMNY, the MTA is reminding NYC commuters that two major train lines between Manhattan and Queens will permanently switch places this month. Starting December 8th, subway riders will have to learn new stops on the F and M lines, at least on weekdays. F and M train service between Manhattan and Queens will be switched to eliminate a merge at Queens Plaza that the agency said has caused delays for riders on the Queens Boulevard line. The MTA first announced the subway shakeup on September 29th. We're making this change to provide more reliable service for 1.2 million riders who take the E, F, M, and R trains every day. The MTA said in a service alert. What is the changes on the F and M train, you ask? So the M and M trains will permanently swap routes between Manhattan and Queens on weekdays only from around 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. The change will affect 8 stations. Now, in case you're wondering what the train stations are, this includes, okay, so hold on. The F trains will replace M trains at Queens Plaza, Core Square, 23rd Street, Eli Avenue, Lexington Avenue, 53rd Street, and Fifth Avenue, 53rd Street. M trains will replace the F trains at 21st Street, Queens Bridge, Roosevelt Island, Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street, and 57th Street. Um, there are no changes on weekends or during late nights. The MTA said. Hold on. So during the day and evening, F trains will still run express and M trains will still run local in Queens. The agency did say, however, some transfers to and from both trains would change. Man. Um, so the change will eliminate delay prone merges between the E and M lines at Queens Plaza, MTA rep said. After that, the E will share tracks with two lines down from three, and the M will share tracks with three lines down from four. For more information about the change, you can visit mca.info. You know what really kind of struck me when I was watching TV? How are these people gonna get off at Roosevelt Island, 21st Street, Queensbridge, and all the other stops that the F train usually runs? So this sounds like a bad deal to me, man, and it's going to be very confusing. It's going to be very fucking confusing for a lot of train commuters. So I figured I'd talk about this today in this episode, and it's very important. So that's what's happening with the M. That's what's happening with the F and M trains. All right. Now this is going to create a lot of confusion and stuff, man. So I'm not sure how long this shit is going to be, but but it's going to be like, I don't know. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments in the YouTube chat, how do you feel about these changes of the F and M trains? All right, you can express yourself in the comments below, and you can express how you feel about the F and M train changes to where you usually get off at, as far as 21st Street, Roosevelt Island, and along with certain stops. All right. So those 8 train stations that you're not going to be able to get off of, go ahead, comment down below. Tell me how you feel about it. Is it a good thing or a bad thing for train commuters? If you thought that the train switching of the F and M lines was crazy, you might as well have to be careful out there with all these crazy incidents that's been happening in every subway stations, especially with this one, the stabbing. Yes, the stabbing. Here's what's going on here. So police are looking for the suspects behind a rush hour stabbing at a busy Bronx station that took place on Friday morning that left a man wounded. According to enforcement sources, the attack occurred at around 7:30 a.m. on November 7th at the Kingsbridge Road subway station, home to the 4 train. The 45-year-old male victim was on the mezzanine of the station when 3 men approached and surrounded him. The group of men started arguing, but the scenario escalated when the trio, who were unknown to the victim, whipped out a sharp object, police sources said. The suspects used the object to allegedly stab the victim multiple times in his leg, buttocks, and torso, immediately fleeing the station on foot before officers from the 52nd precinct and Transit District 11 arrived on the scene. EMS responded and rushed the bloodied victim to St. Barnabas Hospital in stable condition. It is unclear at this time what the motive was behind the attack. Police released surveillance photos of the male suspects on Saturday who remain at large. They are each described as having a dark complexion, approximately 30 to 40 years old. Um, one was last seen wearing a beige coat and light colored sweatshirt. Another was wearing camouflage pants and a gray sweatshirt, and the third suspect was last seen wearing a black jacket, black jeans, and white sneakers. To date, no arrests have been made, but the investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information regarding the attack can call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. And for the Latinos who speak Spanish, you can call 888-57-PISTA. You can also submit tips online at crimestoppers.nypdonline.org or on X, formerly Twitter, at NYPD Tips. All calls and messages are kept confidential. All right. I got one more transit topic that I want to get to. And this is talking about the new subway cars for Staten Island. All right. So the Staten Island Railway fleet is now entirely made up of new R211 subway cars, replacing the ones that have been in service for more than 50 years. MTA officials announced that took place on September 12th. The new fleet replaces a bunch of R44 cars dating back to 1973. Damn! And, and features pre-installed security cameras in each car and 58-inch wide door openings that are 8 inches wider than the standard door openings on the older fleet. Wider doors are designed to speed up boarding and reduce the amount of time trains sit in stations. The cars also have additional accessible seating, digital displays let me see. Yeah, where did I leave off here? To provide station specific information and brighter lighting and signage, which the MTA said will improve the customer experience. The MTA started rolling out the fleet last year. New rolling stock is a huge part of the MTA's fully funded capital plan, and now Staten Island is the first borough to get a full fleet of R211 R211s train cars, said MTA Chair and CEO General Lieber. The new models not only look great, but they are key to running more reliable service for the borough's thousands of daily riders. In line with best industry practices, the R44 cars will still be available for a few years as the new fleet is introduced, according to the MTA. Borough President Vito Fasella, who has been at odds lately with the MTA over congestion pricing and express bus service, welcomed the new cars to Staten Island. In quote, "We are pleased that after 50 years, there, excuse me, the Staten Island Railway will finally be completely up to speed with the rest of the city," Fasella said. The newer trains are a welcome development for safety, accessibility, and comfort when traveling. We will continue to support and advocate for modernizing our Staten Island Railway and putting our commuters first. NYC Transit President Demetrius Critchlow, who was once the head of the SIR, said the cars will make riders trips undeniably better along the train's 21 stops, most of which are free to use. This major milestone of successful. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. This major milestone of successfully introducing all of the R211s, R211S cars into service on the Staten Island Railway means smoother commutes for Staten Islanders, Critchlow said. All right. Let me see this. Let me see. Okay, so let me see if I have all my topics. Yep, I should be good. I should be good to go. All right. All right. All right. All right, let's go to the next one. The next topic will be hold on 1 second. Yeah, so all right, the next segment that we're gonna get into, we're gonna start off with the with Diddy, who's now in prison for 4 years within 50 months. And by the way, his release date has been moved to June 3rd. June 3rd of what is it, 2020? No. Hold on. I'm gonna have to look for this right here. So let's get into it right here with chatting on the jazz. Let's start there. Okay, let's get to the story. Let's get to the story of what went down. And this is from the folks from E Online. All right, so here's what's going on here. So Sean Diddy Combs' life behind bars is coming to light. In a photo taken, hang on a second. In a photo taken from inside New Jersey's Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution on November 23rd. The rapper wore a gray pullover and sweatpants as he walked down a corridor with his graying hair and goatee in full view. Combs appeared to smile at a fellow inmate standing off camera. Yeah, in case anybody didn't know, he was sentenced on Friday, October the 3rd. Yeah, so in another video published by TMZ, the footage of which E News could not independently verify. Combs was clad in the same prison issued garb as well as a dark jacket and yellow knitted beanie while working inside a chapel library. Combs was transferred to Fort Dix from the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York late October after he was sentenced to 50 months in prison on prostitution related convictions. He spent his 56th birthday on November 4th at the facility. Let's see. As of how he spent the day, the rap mogul was served bran flakes with an option of breakfast cake or whole wheat bread for breakfast, according to a prison menu obtained by People. He was given the option of a chickpea burger. Not sure what chickpeas are. I heard of it, but I never ate it before. Um, or chicken parmesan for lunch. While his choice in a birthday dinner was cheese pizza or navy beans with salad. Oh man. During his first week at Fort Dix, um, Combs also faced rumors that he drank homemade alcohol, which his spokesperson vehemently denied. Oh boy. Oh brother. He has not violated any prison rules, Combs rep told People in a statement published November 9th. His sobriety and self-discipline are priorities, and he is taking them seriously. The spokesperson added, "We asked the public and the press to give him the benefit of the doubt, the privacy to focus on his personal growth, and the grace to move forward in peace." Give him the benefit of the doubt? After he fucking beat up, after he fucking beat up Cassie Ventura? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Um, and this also goes to the release date. So Combs is slated to be released on June 4th, 2028. That's 3 years from now, man, according to Federal Bureau of Prisons records obtained by E News. During his sentencing, the rap mogul expressed remorse in his actions, telling the judge, "I am not this larger than life person. I am just a human being. I was trying my best. I got lost in my excess and lost in my ego. I have been humbled and broken to my core," he added. "I hate myself right now. I've been stripped down to nothing." Yeah, I don't think anybody feels sorry for his ass, man. Yeah, so the judge sentenced him to 50 months in prison, totaling over 4 years plus 5 years of supervised release and a fine of $500,000 at the hearing that took place October the 3rd. Yeah, Sean. So the musician spoke out for the first time in court at his sentencing that took place Friday, October the 3rd, apologizing to victims Cassie Ventura and Jane. "Domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will have to carry, that I will have to forever carry," Combs said. "My actions were disgusting, shameful, and sick. I was sick from the drugs. I was out of control. I needed help, and I didn't get the help, and I cannot make no excuse." He went on to share how the case has impacted him. "I am just a human being. I was trying my best. I got lost in my excess and lost in my ego," he continued. "Because of my decision, I lost my freedom and the opportunity to raise my children and be there for my mother. I lost all of my businesses and lost my career and destroyed my reputation. And most of all, I lost my self-respect. I have been humbled and broken to the core. I hate myself now. I've been stripped down to nothing." Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it's gonna sound now. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. So in July, Judge Iran Subramanian scheduled Combs' sentencing date for October 3rd, which already happened. Subramanian denied Combs' request to be released on bond ahead of the sentencing, citing the rapper's year-long pattern of violence as a reason for him to remain behind bars. That's also a good thing. After Combs was found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy as well as sex trafficking ex Cassie and ex Jane, though he was found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution of both women, the singer's lawyer reacted to the verdicts. This entire criminal process started when our client Cassie Ventura had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Douglas Wigdor said in a July 2nd statement to E! News, although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. Nothing, noting the charges which Combs pleaded not guilty to, Wigdor added, "We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial." Wigdor also praised Ventura, who was one of 34 witnesses called to the standing during Combs' 29-day trial, for her effort. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without uh, repercussion, he continued. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. You know, this is where this is where I I switch gears to what John Legend had to say. Um, this is where I actually switch gears to John Legend and what he has to say, though. So, all right, so here's what's going on here. Let's see. Here's what's going on here. I want to actually. So, John Legend didn't stay silent. This is from Daily News, Best Topics. Um, okay, so hold on. When the news broke that Diddy had received a 4-year sentence, Legend responded not with a vague statement, um, but with a message so raw and powerful it echoed across social media. And he's like, 4 years? That's it? He wrote, just 4 years, but they hit like thunder. Millions stopped scrolling. They read, they felt the weight. Yeah, this is terrible, man. Yeah, this is some terrible shit. This is some terrible shit, and then he and Diddy gets away with all this shit though, man. Nobody feels sorry for him. Everybody felt sorry for what happened to Cassie. That's who they feel sorry for. That's it. And how about give Cassie the benefit of the doubt that she came forward, talked about her experience and how she got beat up and everything else, and for the survivors. Now that to me that takes bravery and courage. All right. So that's just that's just baffling, man. 4 years. It should have been more than 4 years. Yeah.
Go! Oh, no! Oh my God!
All right. For Legend, this wasn't just about one celebrity. It was about a justice system that seemed to bend under the weight of fame. He continued in quote, accountability should never depend on fame or status. Protect the innocent and hold the guilty responsible. That's what real justice means. These weren't words crafted for headlines. They were written from the heart of someone who's seen too much silence, too many victims ignored, and people, too many powerful people, walk away untouched. Okay, untouched. Yeah, the reaction was immediate. Thousands of comments poured in. Fans, activists, and everyday people shared their own frustration. Many said they'd lost faith. They'd lost faith in. Hold on. They lost faith in the justice system. Um, They lost faith in the justice system, but Legends Post gave them something to hold on to, a voice, a reminder that someone was paying attention. But John Legend didn't stop at one post. He kept the conversation going, challenging the idea that fame should soften consequences. We can't keep protecting the powerful while the vulnerable suffer, he wrote. Justice isn't real if it only applies to the forgotten. His words weren't polished for PR. They were sharp, honest, and deeply human. This wasn't just about Diddy. It was about every survivor who's ever been told to stay quiet, every person who's watched someone walk free because they were rich, famous, or well connected. Legend's message was clear: silence is complicity, and he refused to be complicit. Soon, other artists began to speak up. Some reposted Legend's words, others added their own. The conversation grew louder. News outlets picked it up. Hashtags spread. And beneath it all was a growing sense that something had shifted, that people were no longer willing to accept celebrity justice as normal. Legends post wasn't just a reaction, it was a reckoning, a call to remember that justice must be blind to status, but never blind to suffering. He didn't name names to stir drama. He spoke truth to power and reminded the world that real accountability starts with courage. In a time when many choose silence to protect their image, John Legend chose honesty, and in doing so, he gave voice to those who've been silenced for too long. His message wasn't about anger; it was about principle, about standing up when it's easier to sit down, about saying what needs to be said, even when it's uncomfortable. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a public figure can do isn't sing, perform, or entertain. It's speak. Speak for those who can't. Speak against what's wrong. Speak until someone listens. I want to make some noise for John Legend, man, for saying that though, man. This is an epic, courageous message. All right. So he's talking about powerful men that gets away with crimes, abuse, abuse of domestic violence and stuff to the innocent women. So great on his part for speaking up. I'm gonna make some noise for John Legend for having the courage and the heart to actually speak up on this situation. All right. All right. Let's get into I want to get into what poverty is about because I hear that word so many times. Um, and I want to actually break this down because the reason I bring this up is because in the previous episodes I actually talked about food insecurities that people are going through because of the idiot in the White House decides to to cut off SNAP benefits. This is listen. Um, as I said before, man. As I said before, man, people don't deserve this shit. And I was actually talking to a homeboy of mine along with my mother and 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 her friend Nicole. I was actually talking about how food insecurity is actually a real thing. This is not a laughing matter. The same way the same way the same way that I try to tell them that food is a given right. The same way it goes with healthcare. You feel what I'm saying? Um and I was like, let me just talk about poverty, man, because I think it's very important to actually address this. Um all right. So I think it's very important to actually address this because it's for people who are low in poverty. And as I was saying in the previous episodes, and I was explaining to a homeboy of mine and my mother, is that not everybody can get jobs because if you really think about it, though, man, you have people who are disabled and they are on wheelchairs. They're walking with a cane and they're using a walker. You know what I'm saying? And you have senior citizens who are retired, and you have those who's already working, but but they're having a hard time, you know, they're having a hard time trying to make ends meet as far as groceries and stuff. Um, and I feel like sometimes, you know, you get caught up in the fucking narrative about people who get things for free. This is not what this is about, folks. This is about people who are struggling and trying to actually, trying to, live for themselves. Make sure they have their last they have food on the table. It's food insecurity. And people are running low on food and stuff. So of course many of y'all could actually volunteer to make donations and stuff. And the reason why people are talking about it is because you know you steal food from people. That is a fucking crime, man. And I feel like and and I feel like that famine and starvation, if you're starving people as the president of the United States, that's a fucking crime, and he should be fucking arrested for this shit. All right. And of course, like I said, this is where the word poverty comes in. Um, so what is poverty, you ask? Um, Hang on a second. So what is poverty, you ask? So poverty is the state of one who lacks a usual or socially acceptable amount of money or material possessions. Poverty is said to exist when people lack the means to satisfy their basic needs. In the context, the identification of poor people first requires a determination of what constitutes basic needs. Um, yes. In this context, the identification of poor people first requires a determination of what constitutes basic needs. These may be defined as narrowly as those necessary for survival or as broadly as those reflecting the prevailing standard of living in the community. The first criterion would cover only those people near the borderline of starvation or death from exposure. Um, the second would extend to people whose nutrition, housing, and clothing, though adequate to preserve life. Um, do not measure up to those of the population as a whole. The problem of definition is further compounded by the non-economic connotations that the word poverty has acquired. Poverty has been associated, for example, with poor health, low levels of education or skills, and inability or unwillingness to work, high rates of disruptive or disorderly behavior, and improvidence. While these attributes have often been found to exist with poverty, their inclusion in a definition of poverty would relation between them and the inability to provide for one's basic needs. Whatever definition one uses, authorities and lay persons alike commonly assume that the effects of poverty are harmful to both individuals and society. Wow. 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 All right. Yeah, that part. That part. Okay. So, let me see. Let me see. Yes, although poverty is a phenomenon as old as human history, its significance has changed over time. Under traditional modes of economic production, widespread poverty had been accepted as inevitable. The total output of goods and services, even if equally distributed, would still have been insufficient for the entire population a comfortable standard of living by prevailing standards. With the economic productivity that resulted from industrialization, however, this ceased to be the case, especially in the world's most industrialized countries, where national outputs were sufficient to raise the entire population to a comfortable level if the necessary redistribution could be arranged without adversely affecting output. Several types of poverty may be distinguished depending on such factors as time or duration um, and distribution. All right, so psych, cyclic. Hold on. Let me psych cyclical poverty. Poverty refers to poverty that may be widespread throughout a population, but the occurrence itself is of limited duration. In non-industrial societies, present, and past, this sort of inability to provide for one's basic needs rests mainly upon temporary food shortages caused by natural phenomena or poor agricultural planning, which is what's happening right now with food insecurities right now, man. Prices would rise because of scarcities of food, which brought widespread, a bet temporary misery. Yeah, that's that's why we're in fucking inflation right now. In industrialized societies, the chief cyclical cause of poverty is fluctuations in the business cycle, with mass unemployment during periods of depression or serious recession. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, the industrialized nations of the world experienced business panics and recessions that temporarily enlarged the numbers of the poor. The United States experienced in the Great Depression of the 1930s, though unique in some of its features, exemplifies this kind of poverty. And until the Great Depression, poverty resulting from business fluctuations was accepted as an inevitable consequence of a natural process of market regulation. Relief was granted to the unemployed to tide them over until the business cycle again entered an upswing. The experiences of the Great Depression inspired a generation of economists, um, such as John Maynard um, Keynes, who sought solutions to the problems caused by extreme swings in the business cycle. Since the Great Depression, governments in nearly all advanced industrial societies have adopted economic policies that attempt to limit the ill effects of economic fluctuations. In this sense, governments play an active role in poverty alleviation by increasing spending as a means of stimulating the economy. Part of this spending comes in the form of direct assistance to the unemployed, either through unemployment compensation, welfare, and other subsidies, or by employment on the public works project. Although business depressions affect all segments of society, the impact is most severe on people of the lowest socioeconomic strata because they have fewer marginal resources than those of a higher strata. Collective poverty, in contrast to um, cyclical poverty, which is temporary, widespread, or collective. Poverty involves a relatively permanent insufficiency of means to secure basic needs, a condition that may be so general as to describe the average level of life in a society, or that may be concentrated in relatively large groups in otherwise prosperous society. Um, Both generalized and concentrated collective poverty may be transmitted from generation to generation, parents passing their poverty on to their children. Holy shit. You got to be fucking kidding me. Collective poverty is relatively general and lasting in parts of Asia, the Middle East, most of Africa, and parts of South America and Central America. Life for the bulk of the population in these regions is at a minimal level. Nutritional deficiencies cause disease seldom seen by doctors in the highly developed countries. Spent- Hold on. Low life expectancy, high levels of infant mortality, and poor health poor health characterize life in these societies. I'm sorry for the tongue twister, folks. Just bear with me here. Collective poverty is usually related to economic underdevelopment. The total resources of many developing nations in Africa, Asia, and South and Central America would be insufficient to support the population inadequately, even if they were equally divided among all of the citizens. Proposed remedies are twofold: expansion of the gross national product through improved agriculture or industrialization, or both, and two, population limitation. Thus far, both population control and induced economic development in many countries, um, have proved difficult, controversial, and at times inclus- inconclusive or disappointing in their results. An increase of the GNP not necessarily led to an improved standard of living for the population at large for a number of reasons. The most important reason is that in many developing countries, the population grows even faster than the economy does, with no net reduction in poverty as a result. This increased population growth stems primarily from lowered infant mortality rates, made possible by improved sanitary and disease control measures. Unless such lowered rates eventually result in women bearing fewer children, the result in a sharp acceleration in popular growth. To reduce birth rates, some developing countries have undertaken nationally administered family planning programs with varying results. Many developing nations are also characterized by a long standing system of unequal distribution of wealth, a system likely to continue despite marked increases in the GNP. Some authorities have observed the tendency for a large portion of any increase to be um, siphoned off by persons who are already wealthy, while others claim that increases in GNP will always trickle down to the part of the population living at the subsistence level. Concentrated collective poverty in many industrialized, relatively affluent countries. Particular demographic groups are vulnerable to long-term poverty in city ghettos, in regions bypassed or abandoned by industry, and in areas where agriculture or industry is inefficient and cannot compete profitability. There are found victims of concentrated collective poverty. These people, like those afflicted with generalized poverty, have higher mortality rates, poor health, low educational levels, and so forth when compared with the more affluent segments of society. Their chief economic traits are unemployment and underemployment, unskilled occupations, and job instability. Promoting small businesses, introducing improved agricultural methods, and raising the level of skills of employable members of the society. Case poverty, similar to collective poverty in a relative um, permanence, but different from it in terms of distribution. Case poverty refers to the inability of an individual or family to secure basic needs, even in social surroundings of general prosperity. The inability is generally related to the lack of some basic attribute that would permit the individual to maintain himself or herself. Such persons may, for example, be blind, physically or emotionally disabled, or chronically ill. Physical and mental handicaps are usually regarded sympathetically as beyond the control of the people who suffer from them. Efforts to ameliorate poverty due to physical causes focus on education, shelter, employment, and if needed, economic maintenance. Damn, man. You got social mobility movement of individuals, families, or groups through a system of social hierarchy or stratification. If such mobility involves a change in position, especially in occupation, but no change in social class, it is called horizontal mobility. An example would be a person who moves from a managerial position in one company to a similar position in another. If, however, the move involves a change in social class, it is called vertical mobility and involves either upward mobility or downward mobility. An industrial worker who becomes a wealthy businessman moves upward in the class system. A landed aristocrat who loses everything in a revolution moves downward in the system. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see. I'm not gonna go through all this, so I'm probably gonna save all this for another time. Actually, I want to actually get to, I want to actually get to this next topic. Actually, so that's why I wanted to actually, you know, rush this. Actually, so all right, let's talk about National Wine. Excuse me. Let's talk about National White Wine Day. Very interesting. Very interesting holiday for this damn thing, man. Oh shit! National White Wine Day, which took place August 1st, is the perfect opportunity to enjoy a glass of this very versatile drink. White wines make for great. Um, hold on, what is it? Apper um aperitifs before a meal, a suitable companion to fish or white meat dishes, and a great a great I can excuse me a accom- accompaniment to dessert. Huh. Yeah, this is one of the words didn't really remember in school. Anyway, white wine is generally considered to be lighter and more refreshing than red wine and is the preferred alcoholic beverage for millions of people throughout the world. So whether it is a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon blanc, National White Wine Day is here and it's time to relax and treat yourself to a crisp little tipple. All right, so hang on one second. One second here. Okay. Um all right. Hang on one second. My damn shit is like acting weird. My damn shit is acting weird, so just bear with me here. All right, let's talk about the history of National White Wine Day. So, the origins of wine can be traced back as far as 75 wait, hold on. 7,500 years ago. Shit. In what is known as Iran. Experts are pretty sure that wine was being drunk long before this, but there's no actual evidence for them to point towards at the moment. By 460 BC, it was being consumed in Europe, and the Greek physician um, um, Hippocrates was prescribing it as a remedy to some of his his patients. During the Roman times, wine featured heavily at expensive banquets and was considered a sign of prestige. It was the Romans who began to produce less sweet versions of white wine as they conquered new territories in the north and cultivated on new land. It was also the Romans who introduced the concept of drinking cool wine in the summer and warm wine in the winter, a practice which many still follow today. I didn't know you can warm up wine. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I didn't know you can warm up wine. I didn't know you could do that shit though, man. Anyway, let me keep going here. um White wine eventually became popular throughout all of Europe, which led to more vineyards throughout the continent. By the 16th century, that popularity has spread to the Americans, with vines being planted in Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. Champagne was created in the 18th century, and by the 19th century, it was the drink of choice for the elite. Champagne is only produced in the Champagne province of France, in an area that has unique soil due to its sloping landscapes. The 20th century has seen vines introduced to new places and technological developments have changed the process of winemaking throughout the world. One thing, one thing though hasn't changed, and that's the people's love for a glass of white wine. The origins of National White Wine Day are unclear, but we do know the best way to celebrate, and that's with a glass of the good stuff. All right, so the timeline. So 4100 BC, the first winery, the oldest winery found in a cave in America, excuse me, Armenia, can be traced back to this period. 1697, bubbly arrives. The French monk Dom per, Dom per, Dom Pari, par, uh, um, I'm sorry, Dom P. Rignan. Dom P. Rignan invented champagne. Sorry for the butcher. Anyway, 1811, a fine year. Abato Chateau de why let me just spell it, man. I'm sorry. Let me just spell this shit. Anyway, Chateaud apostrophe YQUEM from 1811, sold for $117,000 in 2011, making it the most expensive bottle of white wine ever. 1857, California Dreamin', the first commercial California winery, Buena Vista Winery, is founded. I'm not gonna really. Oh, so let's see. So the survey of National White Wine Day. Okay, so 16 of Americans don't know anything about the different types of wines. So, let's see. So, yeah, So, Pinot Noir 8%, Syrah 2%, Zinfandel 16%, Pinot Gris 6%, Cabernet Sauvignon 6%, Chardonnay 13%, Merlot 18%, Malbec 3%, Sauvignon Sauvignon Blanc 2%, Riesling 9%. I don't know my wine types. 70. All right. Luckily, less than 10% drink 5+ glasses of wine in one sitting. 74%, almost 3/4 of Americans agree that 2 glasses is plenty. Okay, so all right, so starting with 35% would be, let me see, what is this? 35% is 35% is 3 glasses. Are you sure? Yeah, it's 3. No, hold on. Hold up. Yeah, 3 glasses. Yeah, that sounds about right. 39% is 2 glasses. 13% is what is it? That's like 1 glass and probably an entire bottle. 3% is 4 glasses. 3% is 4 glasses, and 3% is about 4 glasses. No, 3%. No, 3% is 3 glasses. 3% is 4 glasses, and 6% is, oh shit, 3 glasses. Anyway, all right. So more vino, please, and 99% have slapped a bag of wine. A bag of wine, really? 3% judge people who drink rosé. Say wine, 9% say wine gives them the worst hangovers. I could have believed that. I could agree with that. 3% always cry when they drink wine. Why do you cry while drinking wine? I don't get it. 37% have finished a bottle of wine by themselves. 9% always buy boxed wine because it's cheap. 42% think a $10 bottle is a nice bottle of wine. Let's see. So a think a $15 bottle of, so 24% think a 15 $15 bottle of wine is a splurge. Yeah, probably. So let me see. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Top five favorite wine brands. So this is so Sutter House, Yellow Tail, Gallo, Blossom Hill, and B Ringer, whatever that means. So 24%. Jeez, man. 24. Damn, this is crazy, man. I don't got time for this shit anyway. And then would you like some cheese with that wine? 15% of Americans love wine and cheese, while 12% like to pair wine with their meal, cheese or no cheese. Who needs a glass when you can have a whole bottle? 12% of Americans say they have finished an entire bottle of wine by themselves. 8% of Americans say wine is their alcoholic beverage of choice. Oh shit. National White Wine Day activities. You can pour yourself a glass of wine. Pour yourself a glass of white. There's no better way to celebrate National White Wine Day than by treating yourself to a glass of white wine. Um, Invite some friends over, pop open a bottle, and savor its unique and refreshing taste. Host a white tasting evening with friends. When it comes to white wine, there is such an incredible variety that you are basically spoiled for choice. Why not host a white wine tasting evening and invite your friends over to sample the different white wines available? Score them, and the group can collectively decide on their favorite wine. Visit a vineyard. Become more knowledgeable about white wine by visiting a vineyard and learning more about how it is produced. Many vineyards offer tours of their grounds so you can see what goes into that bottle of wine. And of course, there will be some wine tasting involved too. 5 facts about white wine that will surprise you. So, number one, the phobia. Some people suffer from a phobia of wine. It's called um oenophobia. Never heard of this shit though, man. But I digress. Number two, 75 grapes. It takes approximately 75 grapes to make a glass of wine. Excuse me, a glass of white wine to be exact, which means you need 300 grapes for a bottle. Oh shit. Um Nebuchadnezzar is the name given to the largest bottle of white wine that you can buy. It's a 15-liter bottle, which equates to 20 normal sized bottles. Number four, temperature is key. White wine should be served at a temperature of 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Number five, if it was a popularity contest, Chardonnay is the most popular white wine in the world. And why we love National White Wine Day, you ask? It's versatile. White wine is a drink for many occasions, whether it's chicken, fish, a dessert, or just a social catch up with friends. A glass of white wine will suit the occasion. The variety from Chardonnay to champagne and everything in between, there is a huge range of different white wines out there, and you could spend a lifetime deciding which your favorite is. The taste. Let's not forget that the main reason white wine is so popular is that it tastes Great. All right, so next year, 2026, Tuesday, August 4th, 2027, Wednesday, August 4th, 2028, Friday, August 4th, Saturday, 2029, August 4th, 2030, Sunday, August 4th. All right. All right, the next topic to talk about is Cameron. Oh man, this one is so funny right here, man. So Cameron clashed with Adrien Broner on It Is What It Is podcast, ejecting him from the set and blasting him as a junkie and alky, no, ouchie after Broner was asked to stop flirting with co-host Treasure Stat Baby Wilson. Okay, this is from Complex actually. So Cameron isn't letting anyone disrespect his It Is What It Is co-host, and Adrien Broner found out the hard way. On Tuesday, the Harlem rap legend clashed with the former boxing champion during a recent taping of the sports talk show, after Broner continuously flirted with co-host Treasure Stat Baby Wilson. Things escalated when Cam ultimately had Broner escorted off set and tore into him later in the episode. In the clip shared online, the It Is What It Is crew was going through another take on their show when Broner appeared to get Cameron's attention from the outside of the studio. Cam tried to ignore it, but eventually had some words for the former boxing champion. Say that again. I'm sorry. Start that over. Talking about this nigga want to talk to me. Nigga, you ouchie nigga. I don't talk to you, said Cam. Nigga, just needed you for entertainment for the show. Fucking junkie. Go ahead, man. My bad. Broner's behavior on set crossed the line crossed the line almost immediately. He told Wilson, "You look so good in person," before asking her how much she weighed and declaring, "I love you." Even after apologizing, Broner shifted his attention to co-host Arabia Tillery, making the awkward comment, "If that's Arabia, I'm Saudi." Okay, he's stupid for that shit too, man. He's really stupid and a sucker for that shit too. So the constant advances forced Cam, Mace, and the rest of the crew to repeatedly try steering the conversation back to sports, but Broner persisted, eventually leading Cam to step in directly. On 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 some G shit, her boyfriend here, Cam warned. After another round of apologies from Broner that quickly turned back into compliments, Cam had enough. All right, hey, we going to have to ask you to go, my nigga, he said, adding that he would still pay Broner for his time, but wouldn't tolerate disrespect towards his colleagues. Yeah. And following the taping, Cam posted footage of the uncomfortable exchange to Instagram, captioning it, "See, this just why we don't just let anybody come on our show. This hashtag AB was out of pocket, so hashtag killer politely told this nigga to exit the building." I'm glad he did that, man. No, you if you're recording a podcast and somebody's being disrespectful to you and all this stuff, of course you want them to be out of the building. Of course you would, because they're recording a podcast and that's very disrespectful. And another person that's very disrespectful, who you may know, who was previously on the Breakfast Club, basically disrespected 9 to 5 workers who don't have a boss. Well, I said this episodes ago that not everybody can be bosses. Not everybody could fucking sell cookies like his son did. Not everybody could be fucking salesmen. You feel what I'm saying? And yes, Cameron puts Dame Dash on blast. And this yo, check out It Is What It Is podcast on YouTube and streaming platforms. It is a funny, hilarious show, man. Like, go check it out if you're into sports like football and basketball. All right, so the Rockefeller co-founder quickly refuted the Tavio Samuels account and posted in an Instagram with his receipts. So stupid, man. So fucking stupid, man. Anyway, Cameron wasted no time roasting hip hop mogul Damon Dash after Revolt CEO Detavio Samuels denied he was acting chairman as Dash had previously claimed. Cameron launches his own network. So, in a statement written to the Revolt team obtained by the Shade Room, Samuels wrote, "Team, I know some of you might have caught Dame Dash's interview on the Breakfast Club. To set the record straight, Dame Dash is a hip-hop pioneer with a proven track record as a creator. Yes, we've been in conversations about potential partnerships, things like licensing his shows and films to Revolt, but there is no signed deal." He added, "He is not the chairman of our company. There is no acquisition path on the table. The quote from me in Vibe is completely fabricated. I never said any of that." Yeah, his ass is broke, man. How the hell he's gonna do that, man? His ass is fucking broke, man. Anyway, so his ass is broke. How the fuck you gonna be a CEO of Revolt and shit? Anyway, the quote Samuels is deferring to reads as quote, end quote, as the CEO of the media company dedicated to hip hop culture and the diverse creators and consumers who drive it. It makes sense to do business with Dame. Cameron took the opportunity to hit below the belt with a joke about Dash's teeth, or rather lack of. You can't say he's lying through his teeth. He ain't got no. Oh shit. He wrote in the Instagram comment section, lying through your teeth. Lying through your gums. His treacherous laugh out loud. Oh man. Dash quickly refuted Samuel's account and posted an Instagram post with his receipts. As he noted in the caption, "I hate to bring out receipts, but Detavio gave me a call. I never would have took the deal if there wasn't a pathway to ownership." I can't stand Dame Dash, man. I can't stand his ass. Dash included a text to Samuels in which he asked, "Also, is there still a pathway to ownership?" And Samuels appeared to say yes. Yeah, let me see. Let's see. So Dash claimed he would serve as the network chairman of Revolt TV for 1 month during an interview with the Breakfast Club on Tuesday that took place on September 16th. The 54-year-old Rockefeller Records co-founder said he was planning to hold the position for 1 month during the Revolt, during which Revolt will simulcast 25 episodes of his podcast, Bosses Take Losses, and stream a large portion of his media catalog. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really care about his podcast, man. Not when you fucking dissing hardworking people who do 9 to 5 jobs, man. Fuck his ass. Anyway, Dash co-founded Rockefeller Records in 1994 alongside Jay-Z and Kareem Biggs Burke, helping to launch the careers of artists such as Freeway, Beanie Siegel, aka Beans, Memphis Bleak, who you can check out his show, Rock Solid Podcast, and Kanye West fell off, and Cameron has his own podcast. It Is What It Is, sports show. Revolt Meanwhile was launched in 2013 by Diddy, who stepped down as chairman in November 2023 amid ongoing legal issues related to his RICO scandal. The network has since shifted to an employee-owned model. Oh man, the part about when Cam was like, you ain't got no teeth, man, to be lying to. It's just his gums. That shit is so funny, man. Oh shit. Oh man. Oh man. What did you know, man? What did you know? That's really funny though, man. Um, that's funny. Um. Oh man. Oh man. Hold on. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, that part. That part. Let's see. Let's see. Speaking of podcast shows, you know, the reason why I don't really listen to the Joe Budden podcast because he always have Joe Budden always got some crazy ass shit to say about somebody, man. And this is pertaining to Marc Lamont Hill and Queen's Flip. Now this is crazy, man. Listen, listen. So let's get into what's going on according to the folks from Vibe. And here's what's going on here. There are a few certainties in life, death, taxes, and the Joe Budden podcast going viral for chaotic takes, hilarious moments, heated arguments, or some combination of the three. This week, co-host Marc Lamont Hill and Queen's Flip had a tense exchange that went viral, producing entertainment for the entire internet. Although the content was a Patreon exclusive, subscribers felt that those who did not pay for the extra JBP content needed to see what went down. Early in the clip, the political analyst and internet comedian were already going at it. Hill questioned Flip about whether he believed he would do something shady. And Flip repeated that he did not know. Their co-host Imani jumped in and wondered if the footage should be released, which prompted Joe Budden to share one of his few comments throughout the argument. It's going out, he said. The second y'all want to care about what people shouldn't see, then shut up. This is going out. This is going right now. FedEx too, UPS as well. Here's the tracking link. It appeared like Hill and Flip tried to keep that in mind, sharing and I love you to diffuse their heightened emotions. However, things picked right up. Things picked right back up soon after. Hill seemingly attempted to prove his integrity by telling Flip he had never divulged any of their private moments or things Flip may not want people to know about. Whatever you ever told me, ain't never come out, he said. And whatever happened that I witnessed, I ain't never said shit about. I'm not gonna say it because then that would be saying it. That's all I'm gonna say. Can't nobody up here say nothing different. Flip seemed to take issue with the way Hill communicated, saying he said a lot of trickery words, almost as if he intentionally tried to deceive people. No, I don't, Hill said. I say regular words and it's tricky to you. Their debate peaked when Flip was evaluating their purposes on the show and said Hill does sucker shit, setting Hill off in the process. Don't call me a sucker no more, Hill repeated, while Flip clarified that he was not calling him a sucker, but his actions. Hill could not be reasoned with and suggested they go outside to talk when Flip stood up while repeating his point. I'm not potting, he said. Don't fucking stand up. Are we talking or are we potting? We can talk outside or we can pod. Ultimately, the context of the debate is still unclear, but fans can subscribe to the Joe Budden Podcast Patreon to watch the full episode and see what prompted this. Hill also addressed the situation in his own 11-minute video on Patreon, which can be accessed here. Flip addressed the situation directly on X. Just to be clear, just to clear up the air, I was never coming at the fans, he said. He clarified in the tweet that their issue stemmed from a conversation behind the scenes, and Budden actually triggered it by mentioning the host's conversation. I got caught up in the moment, but in retrospect, I don't feel that way. Flip wrote in a follow-up tweet, it was all entertainment from my side. I'm here to put on and go home. Team player always. So I'm listening to one of the episodes of the Native Land podcast, and they talked about Marc Lamont Hill, and basically Joe Budden basically was basically getting at him. Him and Flip was probably getting at him because of some big word that he was talking about, and I guess Marc Lamont Hill was talking about what's going on now as far as the senseless wars and whatnot. So anyway, man, that's one of the reasons why I don't listen to the Joe Budden podcast, because he's so angry all the time, man. So fucking angry all the time, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. I thought you're there to actually bring entertainment, not fucking criticize somebody for using big words. Shit. That's fucking insane, man. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, 263,000 Americans. Oh shit. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that though, man. All right. Let me see. 23. Where is it? Where is that? Where is it? Yeah, here we go. This is from AP News. Let me just tackle the unemployments. Also very important to talk about too, actually. Let me see. So here's what's going on here. Hang on. In another grim sign for the U.S. labor market, jobless claim applications jumped to their highest level in almost 4 years last week, virtually assuring the Federal Reserve will cut its benchmark interest rate next week. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the week ending September 6th rose by 27,000 to 263,000. The Labor Department reported Thursday. That's the most applications since the week of October 23rd, 2021, and well above the 231,000 new applications economists forecast. It's also the biggest week-to-week increase in almost a year. Most analysts were already forecasting an interest rate cut after Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled as much at a conference of central bankers 3 weeks ago. However, another report Thursday showing that consumer inflation remains elevated could complicate the Fed's dual mandate of keeping prices in check while supporting a healthy labor department. Of course, there's no fucking guarantees in life. Of course. Typically, the Fed would cut its key rate when unemployment rose in an attempt to spur more spending and growth, but it would do the opposite and raise rates or keep them unchanged in the face of rising inflation. The hot inflation print will not likely change the Fed's plan to cut rates in September, which already happened, but it's possible the Fed will hold in October if inflation expectations no longer look well contained, said Jeffrey Roach, chief economist for LPL Financial. Fed officials recently have expressed greater concern about the deteriorating labor market than inflation. And while a rate cut could spur economic growth and boost the job market, economists fear it could push inflation even farther, above the Fed's target of 2%. Earlier this week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics issued a massive preliminary revision of U.S. job gains for the 12 months ending in March, further evidence that the labor market has not been as strong as previous thought. The BLS revised figures showed that U.S. employers added 911,000 fewer jobs than originally reported in the year ending in March 2025, with the biggest weakness coming from the leisure and hospitality sector, professional and business services, and retail. The report showed that job gains were tapering long before Cheeseface President 47 rolled out his far-reaching tariffs tariffs on U.S. trading partners in April. The department issues the revisions every year, intending to better account for new businesses and ones that had gone out of business. Final revisions will come out in February 2026. The updated figures came after the agency reported Friday that the economy generated just 22,000 jobs in August, well below the 80,000 economists were expecting. Also, last week, the government said that U.S. employers advertised 7.2 million job openings at the end of July, fewer than economists had forecast, and the first time since April of 2021. There were more unemployed Americans than job postings. Last month's July employment report, which showed job gains of just 73,000 and included huge downward revisions for June and May, sent financial markets spiraling and prompted Trump to fire the head of the agency that compiles the monthly data. Oh, brother. The various labor market reports have bolstered fears that Cheeseface President 47's erratic economic policies, including the unpredictable taxes on imports, have created so much uncertainty that businesses are reluctant to hire. Broader U.S. economic growth has weakened so far this year as many companies have pulled back on expansion projects amid the uncertainty surrounding the impacts of the tariffs. Growth slowed to about a 1.3% annual rate in the first half of the year, down from 2.5% in 2024. Thursday's unemployment benefits report showed that the 4-week average of claims, which evens out some of the week-to-week volatility, rose by 9,750 to 240,500. The total number of Americans collecting unemployment benefits for the previous week of August 30th was unchanged at 1.94 million. Weekly applications for jobless benefits are considered a proxy for layoffs and have mostly settled in a historically low range between 200,000 and 250,000 since the U.S. began to emerge from the COVID-19 slamdemic nearly 4 years ago. Okay, let me see. All right, what's next? Let me see what's next here. Let's see. Let me see what's next. Let me see what's next to talk about. Let me see. Oh man, Mallomars. Oh, I've been meaning to talk about that too. Mallomars. Yeah, Mallomars. Let's talk about that though, man. Let me see. Mallomars. Let me find that shit. Um, hold on. All right. Okay, Mallomars. Let me see if I find it. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Yes. Let me see something. All right. Let me see. Let's go to Mallomars. Okay, so here's what's happening here. Let me get to this. So all right. All right. So this is from Yahoo Life, and according to the website, there are certain signs of autumn's arrival that I always look out for. The leaves changing color, the days growing shorter and shorter, and Mallomars arriving on grocery store shelves. This was an idea topic that I thought about from New York Living as I was watching, and I never seen Mallomars before, so I figured I'd just talk about it here. So they are the treat look forward to all year long. And unlike most fall finds, there's not a hint of pumpkin spice in them. Much like an endangered species, my family and I send each other photos of our first Malamar spottings each year. And as of last week, I finally saw them back on the shelves in my local grocery store. Here's why you should be stocking up on a box or four of Malamars while they are still around. They just may very well become your family's new favorite cookie too. Um, what are Malamars, you ask? So for the uninitiated, sincere apologies. It's taken you this long to learn about them. Mallomars are a 112-year-old Nabisco cookie that originated in New Jersey. That's one thing Mallomars and I have in common. They feature a round graham cracker like cookie topped with a mound of fresh marshmallow and a shatteringly crisp dark chocolate coating. The flavor combination is, of course, reminiscent of s'mores, but the contrast of textures is what sets this cookie apart from all others. The chocolate coating is like the magic shell of the cookie world. Its satisfying crack gives way to um to to eat the really light marshmallow, and then buttery graham cracker. Like a Lay's potato chip, it's nearly impossible to eat just one. As one writer describes it in a 2005 New York Times article, Mallomars are akin to a Proust, um, Madeline's. The first bite never fails to transport me back to my childhood. They hold the same special place in my heart as Thin Mints because much like Girl Scout cookies, Mallomars are only sold during certain months of year. Here's why. Why are Mallomars seasonal? When Mallomars first made in 1913, refrigerated trucks were a dream of the future, and that crunchy chocolate coating um, could only stay solid for so long in the heat. Thus, Mallomars would come to be manufactured, shipped, and sold exclusively in colder months, typically October through March. Despite technological advances of the last 112 years, Nabisco decided to keep the seasonality of the cookie as a nod to its origins and to maintain tradition, a spokesperson for the brand told NPR in 2013. Plus, as we know, a sense of scarcity as products leave and return to shelves creates buzz around them. As that NPR piece put it, the seasonality is what make Mallomars the cookie everyone likes to hoard. Oh shit. This one this is one case where the product lives up to the hype. Where can you buy Mallomars, you ask? Nowadays, Mallomar appears on shelves in late September, early October, and stay until late March, early April. However, you may not see them on shelves by you, according to a blurb on the back of the Mallomars box. Over 70% of the cookies are sold in the New York metropolitan area, keeping its ties to its New Jersey origins strong, even even a century later. In fact, the company estimates about 95% of Mallomars are sold in the Northeast. If you are not from the region, these cookies might be entirely new to you. If that's the case, you are welcome because these cookies are worth your attention. And these days, you you can have them shipped anywhere in the country. Simply order them online via many of the major retailers, which includes Amazon, Walmart, and Target. Sit back and wait for your soon to be favorite seasonal treat to arrive. Believe me, I've already converted several all recipes staffers to full on Mallomars lovers. Okay. Okay. Next topic, I want to actually go over the 99th the 99th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade recap, um to hear what's happening, and all other stuff, and then I'm going to go on to basically, you know, go over yeah, yeah, I'll talk about the Christmas lighting actually, which by the way, man, it starts at 9:57 p.m. I'll go over it actually after I do the recap of the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is 99th. Yeah, so let's go over it. So, let me see. I want to just look at the names and shit, man. So, let me see. Oh man. So, if I'm not mistaken, man. So let's go over this though, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Hold on 1 second here. Let's see. So, all right. So, let's see. So, more than 5,000 volunteers helping the celebration happen. Um, and 8,000 people participating total if you count band and performance groups members. Over 4,500 costumes, most of them handmade. 34 parade balloons, including classics like Snoopy, Spider Man, Pillsbury Doughboy, Buzz Lightyear, Mario, Pac Man. Let me see. Fan favorites like Tom Turkey and the Green Giant, alongside six debuts: The Land of Ice and Wonder by Holland America line, Bricktastic, Winter Mountain by the Lego Group, Master Chocolatier Baldwin by Lint, Upside Down Invasion, Stranger Things by Netflix, Friendsgiving in Pop City by Pop Mart, featuring Labubu, and the Counting Sheep's Dream Generator Hold on a second, man. There was some characters that was in there too, man. Hold on. Let me see. There was one Santa Claus. I saw Little John performing on the what is it? Let me just go over the performances. Let's go over the performances actually. So actually, yeah, better yet. So Hunter, hang on a second here. Hold up. All right, Radio City Rockets was there. They celebrated their 100-year anniversary. Um, and let me see. Who else? Who else? Who else? So tickets to the Radio City Christmas Spectacular are now on sale. The show is currently runs through January 5th. So get your tickets over there. Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney, who you may know from SVU and Organized Crime. They were in a Starbucks ad actually. So this is pretty interesting. So parade goers at Macy's Herald Square got a sweet surprise from Law and Order Special Victims Units and organized crime star Christopher Maloney and Mariska Hargitay. When they popped up in a Starbucks ad during the parade, the beloved pair joked that perhaps what they should do while ordering their drinks is also get drinks for those watching the parade. And they did. Cups of hot Starbucks drinks magically appeared outside at the parade, a bit of holiday magic, if you will, as did Maloney and Hargitay. Now, if only those Starbucks drinks could make it to all of us watching from home. And what you call it? So K-pop Demon Hunters Derpy Tiger was at the parade. And of course Savannah Guthrie, Hoda Cop, and Al Roker um hosted the 99th Thanksgiving Day Parade. Hunter slash X brings K-pop power to 2025, and they did a performance. Let's see. Shrek's Onion Carriages, which includes Donkey and all the other characters. And oh my gosh, man. Ah, Lord. Donkey, Gingy, and Pinocchio have traveled to the New York City together. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. So, and also Shrek 5 will be hitting theaters next December of 2026, December 23rd, 2026. So there you go. Cynthia Erivo sends love to Queen Latifah, and who else? So and of course there were some volunteers, especially those in the especially those in especially Pac-Man making its debut in the parade, of course, celebrating its 45th anniversary, which I'll talk about in a separate episode in the future. Yeah, the most popular character in video games history, and 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 the most awesome game of all time. So there you go, right there. And of course, like I said, Stranger Things. Of course, they brought the float. Who else? Who else though, man? And yes, so Stranger Things and some what is this? Some characters. Some characters. Buzz Lightyear was there at the Thanksgiving Day parade. Mario was there from Mario Brothers. This is what is this? What is this? Let's see. Parade Studio. Yeah, so Yeah, the floats and balloons that dazzle millions of Thanksgiving morning are the work of the talented artisans and specialists at the Macy's Parade Studios. Collaborating closely with partners, the teams designs, builds, and brings to life immersive floats packed with state of the art effects and iconic character balloons that spark and joy wonder. Creating a single float is a year-round effort. Macy's Parade Studio is made up at least 60 artisans and production specialists, including painters, carpenters, animators, sculptors, wheelers, and designers, all working together to make a vision a reality. Constructing a float can take 4 to 7 months, not including the time spent on initial design and ideation. Oh Lord. So okay, classics. Okay. So wait. So oh boy. So classics like Rainbow and Graybow Trouts, the Happy Hippo, Triple Stack, Wigglefoot, and Frida, the Dachshund. Let me see. New collaboration with Goldfish also joined the lineup, adding even more magic to the streets of New York City. Um, Perched atop the floats throughout the parade are plenty of performers, including Jewel, Debbie Gibson, Busta Rhymes, Mickey Guyton, Lainey Wilson, Lil Jon, and of course, yeah, Jonathan Groff and Bobby Darin um, also performed as well on Just in Time. Wait, yeah, Just in Time, their Broadway shows. Okay, so all right, so let's see. Okay, Ragtime makes history sing at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Yeah. Let me see. Just want to see who let's see who performed, man. Let me see who's performing. Okay, so yeah, Busta Rhymes, one of hip hop's most versatile MCs, the trailblazing artist, is appearing on the world of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Chocolate Factory float by Nickelodeon and Paramount. Uh, Callum Scott with Roman Mejia and Tiller Pack, the multi-platinum globally beloved UK singer and songwriter, on the heels of his new duet version of Whitney Houston's iconic hit "I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me," will ride Lit's master chocolatier ballroom float alongside ballet breakouts and newlyweds Mejia and Peck. Christopher Jackson, Broadway star of Hamilton, Hell's Kitchen, and Just Like That actor, will join the Sesame Street Workshop family on the 123 Sesame Street float. Sierra, um, on the Colossal Wave of performed on the Colossal Wave of Wonder float by um, Kalahari Resorts and Conventions. Okay, so Colby, Kalat, and Gavin DeGraw, the singer songwriters who are headlining a Christmas tour this year, can be spotted on Bratch's Palace of Sweets float. Darlene Love, beloved for her holiday classic "Christmas Baby Please Come Home," the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer will deck the halls on a float of the same name by Paulson Hill. Debbie Gibson, fittingly, Sartor's Counting Sheep Dream Generator float will feature the only "In My Dreams" songstress. Drew Baldridge and Mickey Guyton, the country singers, are heading to the Hallmark Channel's heartwarming holiday countdown float. K-pop Demon Hunters Hunter slash X of Catch EJ Audrey Nuna and Ray Amai, the singer voices behind the Netflix hit, make their daytime debut in a special parade moment. Foreigner, Netflix's Stranger Things is coming to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, was there as well as to celebrate the 1980 set series of its Upside Down Invasion, then the Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, known for their 80s hits like Jukebox Hero, Cold as Ice, Feels Like the First Time, and I Want to Know What Love Is. Jewel also performed on Holland America Line's Land of Ice, and Wonder Float will feature the Alaskan singer songwriter. So Cool in the Game celebrate good times with the Rock and Roll Hall of Famers as they appear on the Wondrous World of Wildlife float by the Bronx Zoo. Lauren Spencer Smith, the multi-platinum sensation, lends her voice to Ken Kinder's Fancy Chocolate Factory float. Lil Jon performed on the Toys R Us float. Have fans saying yeah as the Grammy Award winning rapper joins Jeffrey Dazzling Dance Party. Louisa, a powerful powerhouse Brazilian pop star with over 5 billion streams. Sansa appears in the parade for the first time on Doris. Fantastical Rainforest float by Nickelodeon. Mateo Boselli was on. Hold on a second. Yeah. Rayo's Homemade is throwing a pasta night on their float this year and fittingly inviting along the Italian singer and son of renowned tenor Andrea Bocelli. Meg Donnelly days after making her Broadway debut in Moulin Rouge, the musical based on the movie, the Disney Zombies actress and singer will be seen on the brand new Bricktastic Winter Mountain float by the Lego Group. Mr. Fantasy Macy's Jolly Polly pirate ship float will be off the hook this year thanks to the TikTok fave, who is believed to be the musical alter ego of Riverdale actor KJ Apa. Russell Dickinson, the country star known for hits like Yours and Blue Tacoma, will make an appearance on the Harvest in the Valley float by Green Giant. And of course, legendary reggae music artist Shaggy Jenny performed on Jenny O's Big Turkey Spectacular float will feature Mr. Boombastic himself, and when the Grammy Award-winning diamond-selling dancehall artist takes the stage, he performed his old hits, It Wasn't Me and Angel. Taylor Momsen spotted Gossip Girl actress and Pretty Reckless front woman Taylor Momsen at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade after the release of the Pretty Reckless Christmas album. Tiana Taylor, the multi-platinum singer, songwriter, and award-winning actress, would take a ride on Peacock's Birds of a Feather Stream Together float, topping off an incredible year that included the release of her Escape Room visual album and roles in Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another and Ryan Murphy's All's Fair. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is, actually. So it was like 34 parade balloons. Oh yeah, the one thing I want to note is that the Peanuts gang characters were there too. Yeah, the Peanuts gang was there. I saw Lucille, I saw Linus, and along with other characters that was there too. So all right, so 34 parade balloons, 33 clown crews, 28 floats. Oh man. Yeah, friends. Yeah. Yeah, and there was some marching bands, 9 performance crews, 4 balloony siles. Yeah, that was there too. Yeah, Santa Claus is there too. Now I do want to talk about the lighting of the Christmas tree that's happening right now. Let's talk about that right now. So there are some street closures actually. I want to actually go over. So if you step, according to Timeout, if you step foot anywhere near Midtown Manhattan lately, you've probably felt the vibe shift. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is up, and New York is about to enter its annual We Live Here 2 season. Tonight's lighting is a beloved tradition, sure, but being 20 minutes late to every evening commitment because you didn't realize half the streets between 46th and 52nd streets are shut down never sits well. Let's see. The tree, a giant Norway spruce from East Greenbush, New York, made its journey to Rockefeller Center last month and now gets its big moment today as the switch is flipped, illuminating it in more than 50,000 LED lights. It's roughly 75 feet tall, weighs around 11 tons, and will be crowned with a 900-pound Swarovski star designed by Daniel uh, Libeskind. The lighting itself takes place during the Christmas in Rockefeller Center Spectacular. Reba McEntire hosts this year's broadcast, it starts at 8 p.m. I probably missed that already, and feature performances by Mark Anthony, Halle Bailey, Michael Bublé, New Edition, and more. The big moment when the plaza collectively gasps and every tourist within 10 blocks starting filming comes just before 10 p.m. The light is its own spectacle, but it's one that comes along with unavoidable street closures. The NYPD has designated it the month's first grid light alert day. Take that as you will, and the frozen zone footprint is not small. Of course, here are some street closures: 46th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 47th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 48th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 49th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 50th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 51st Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, 52nd Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, Rockefeller Plaza between 48th and 51st Streets, 6th Avenue between 46th and 52nd Streets, and 5th Avenue between, 5th Avenue between 46th and 52nd Streets are closed. So, there you go right there. If you didn't get a chance to go, don't worry. In other words, if you were planning a quick crosstown shortcut through Midtown this evening, don't. Once the lighting ceremony is over, the tree will remain lit daily from 5 a.m. to midnight through mid-January. So it's 24 hours on Christmas Eve and until 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So you got plenty of time to go to Rockefeller Center to check out the 75-foot Christmas tree. All right. So don't worry. Don't worry. All right. So let's get to the main thing that I want to actually go over here. So the next segment is going to be the video game entertainment room. I got some stuff that I want to actually cover. Let's get to it right here. Though. Oh boy. Okay, let's get to it. Let's do it. All right. I'm gonna cut to the chase on some gaming news here. So just forgive me here. All right. Let me see if I can find it. All right. Trying to look for the gaming topics here. Just give me 1 second. All right. Let's see. So, all right, let's get to all right. So the ROG Xbox Alley family launched last week, and the reaction is a study in tempered enthusiasm, according to GameSpace. A sus and Microsoft's co-branded handhelds, the $599 ROG Xbox Alley and the $999 ROG Xbox Alley X arrived, promising high-end handheld PC performance with a more console-like Xbox experience. Reviewers and early buyers are loud about the hardware, and rightfully so. These devices push the handheld PC envelope on power and ergonomics, but for many, the sticker shock and the reality of Windows as the underlying OS keep the exciting tempered. Uh Hardware and first impressions built like a champion. If you want raw numbers and feel, the Alley X is a serious piece of kit. It runs AMD's top tier Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme Silicon, ships with up to 24 gigabytes RAM on higher configurations, and delivers the sort of sustained performance that pushes demanding PC titles into playable territory on a handheld. Reviewers praise its grips, improved triggers, and overall comfort compared to some earlier handheld PCs. And many say the ROG Xbox Alley X sets a new standard for how a portable Windows gaming device should feel in the hands. The cheaper Alley get no, excuse me, the cheaper Alley keeps the same design language but trades down the silicon and memory to hit a lower price point. The that power translated into commercial momentum. Pre-orders for the Alley X sold out quickly in several markets, and retailers have reported brisk demand. Microsoft representatives pointed out that Asus set the final pricing strategy, and that decision not a Microsoft mandate. Explains how the Alley X landed at the $999 mark. Oof, that's pretty expensive, man. That's fucking expensive, I gotta say, man. That's fucking expensive. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, whether that price is worth it depends a lot on how much you value peak handheld performance today versus future proofing. The software wrinkled Xbox skin over Windows 11. One of the biggest selling points Microsoft highlighted is the Xbox full screen experience, which dresses Windows 11 in a more console friendly interface. It smooths some rough edges for controller navigation and emphasizes Game Pass and Xbox ecosystem, which is attractive for players who want a console like flow on PC hardware. But beneath that skin, you are still running full Windows, and reviewers consistently flag that as both a strength and a weakness. The openness of Windows means the Alley can run anything from Steam to the Epic Store and even alternative um, OSs, but it also means occasional UI glitches, background process headaches, and more complexity than a purpose built console. Um, yeah, in short, the alley feels like an Xbox in the front room, but it still behaves like a PC under the hood. The pros, cons, and who should buy one. On the plus side, reviewers and users praise the Alley X for polish, power, and comfort. It's arguably the new benchmark for Windows handheld thanks to a quality display and solid frame rates. The console also brings solid thermals for its form factor. Fans who value raw performance, profitability, and the ability to run multiple launchers will find a lot to love. On the flip side, the price is a real barrier. The $999 Ali X sits squarely in premium territory where some gamers might prefer to buy a more powerful home rig or wait for discounts. Critics point out that cheaper handhelds give better value per dollar for casual play, and the software layer isn't yet as polished as console ecosystems or dedicated gaming OSs. For those who want plug in and play simplicity above all else, capa- the extra capability may not justify the cost. Verdict: evolutionary, not revolutionary. Taken together, the ROG, Xbox Ally, and Ally X represent meaningful progress for PC handhelds, excellent hardware, a more refined user experience, and a clearer path toward mainstream visibility thanks to Xbox branding. They are uh, evolutionary more than revolutionary, and they don't replace consoles or transform Microsoft's platform strategy overnight. But they do give mobile-minded PC gamers a very compelling option. If you prize if you prize performance and openness and don't mind wrestling with Windows quirks, the ROG Xbox Ally X is one of the best handheld PCs you can buy today, assuming you can buy one. You can find one to buy. All right, so let's see. Let's see if there's any other gaming stuff to talk about here. Hang on one second here. Uh, let me see. Let me see something here. All right. Oh wow, wait a minute. Okay, so another gaming topic. Okay. Um Sony has announced the PlayStation Plus Essential monthly games for December, according to Video Games Chronicle. This time there will be 5 games to claim, which is more than usual. Most months offer 3 or 4 games. The games will be available to claim from August 5th and will be wait, hold on. August 5th and you must be talking about next year. Yeah. And will be available for members for all 3 PlayStation Plus tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium. December's PlayStation Plus Essential games include Lego Horizon Adventures, Guerrilla Games, family friendly, take on the events of Horizon Zero Dawn. The game will be available to claim for PS5 members. Joining it is Killing Floor 3, the first person action horror game which puts up to 6 co-op players against waves of enemies. This is also available on PS5 only. Also available in December's selection is the Outlast Trials, the third game in the Outlast series and a prequel to the first 2 entries. It's available to claim in both PS4 PS5 versions. Fourth in the list is Sin Duality, Echo of Ada, a third person PvE extraction shooter released earlier this year, where players have to collect a rare resource called AO crystals while fighting vicious creatures known as the Enders. This is also a PS5 only game. Finally, the 5th PS Plus essential game is Neon White, a critically acclaimed first person action games about exterminating demons in heaven, published by Annapurna. Annapurna. It's available to claim for both PS5 and PS4 players. All 3 games will be available to claim from December 2nd until January 5th, 2026, at which point they will be replaced by another selection of titles. As ever, players who claim the games will be able to continue playing them after they are no longer available to claim, as long as they remain subscribed to any PlayStation Plus tiers. Players can continue to claim November's PlayStation Plus Essential games until the end of December 1st. These include Stray, EA Sports, WRC24, and Totally Accurate Battle Simulators. This could be the last month that Sony will provide PlayStation 4 games as part of its monthly PlayStation Plus offerings. The company previously announced that starting in January 2026, PS4 games will no longer be a key benefit of the service, with the platform holder instead turning its focus to offering PS5 titles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Andy was pretty bummed out about that shit too, man. In one of the Andy Plays episodes that I was watching. So yeah, it's crazy what Sony is doing, but it's a little complex for me to really understand though, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on a sec. All right, we're gonna get into this last segment right here. Stream choices on the go. Let's do this. All right, folks. Make sure you follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook, alongside with Blue Sky Social, Threads, and Instagram. The same goes for my other podcast shows that I do, which is my sports edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, and my entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast. And you can follow your host with the most on Threads and Instagram, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. All right. I will go over where you can actually listen to the podcast episodes based on the podcast feed links. If you go to Linktree let me pull it up. If you go to Linktree / G Money Stacks 555, you're gonna see a whole list of podcast feed links. And this includes Odyssey, Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating alongside with a review on Apple Podcasts. It's very important. It's very important to creators and hosts like myself who creates content on new episodes of this podcast right here. Share your feedback on there, and of course, you can also listen on Apple. You can also listen on Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overhaul FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snipped. Make sure you add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. You can also listen on Spotify for creators. Tune in alongside with Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you can listen to your favorite music artists, including rappers, singers, and R&B, pop stars, and other music genres. Your favorite radio stations in the AM and FM, and of course, you can listen to the episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is follow the podcast on every streaming platform that I just mentioned, including iHeartRadio, and of course, make sure you click on that subscribe button on the channel page, G Money Stacks 555, for more episodes that's uploaded and posted to the page. And of course, leave a like and a comment and share your thoughts on the topics, what you think of the episodes, whatsoever. Also, make sure you share the podcast along with the Linktree link with podcast feeds to your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you're cool with from work. Enable alerts by hitting the notification button, so you'll be able to get notifications on each episode being uploaded, and of course, more video podcast episode live stream recordings. And of course, new episodes will be dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on every streaming platform, including YouTube, whenever you listen, stream, and watch your podcast. All right. So there you have it, folks. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. And I'd like to say thank you to every single one of you who took the time to listen to the episodes. You could have listened to any other podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this comedy podcast platform, Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast right here. Of course, the place to take your mind off of stressful events, informing people about what's going on with the MTA, New York City Transit news, along with music, along with hip hop, along with R&B news, alongside with some movie news, TV news, a little tech, and of course, gaming news as well. And if you like this podcast, of course, you're more than welcome to actually, leave a tip either on my Cash App or my PayPal. All right. You don't have to, no pressure. So there you have it right there. If you plan on starting a podcast, please be yourself behind the microphone as you're recording your episodes and topics. And of course, be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually that get you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. And of course, don't let anybody stop you from following your goals and dreams. It doesn't matter if it's your parents, it doesn't matter whoever says it to discourage you, but you just got to keep going, man. You got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Also, I would like to say that I am grateful and thankful for all the listeners and fans who actually helped me through between 4 to 5 years of building this podcast platform. It really means a lot to me. I'd like to say thank you to all the listeners and new listeners that came through. I really appreciate it. I will be back with more new episodes, more new topics and everything else. So stay tuned for the next episode of new topics and everything else in between. And I appreciate this. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace and one love. Stay safe out there by Rockefeller Center while watching the Christmas tree. And like I said before, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, you got plenty of time throughout December through January 2026. So don't worry if you missed out on today because it's crowded. All right. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm out of here. Signing off. Peace and one love. Stay tuned for the next episode and new topics and everything else in between. I got everything cooking up and lined up already. So, all right, I'm out of here. Peace and one love. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. All right, peace. One love. Good night.